That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
No tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
Fairly alarmed here.
Welcome to MOTN Top 10, where we take a look at some of the brightest supernovas of the popular culture, and we count them down, going over our favorites and seeing which one will end up on top. I am, of course, your living tribunal of a host, Mike G, and we have a full house today, ladies and gentlemen. With us today is, you know him as the Trash Monk, Winter. What's going on, man?
What's up, everybody? It is Trash Monk the Third, Trash Monk I, and it's Trash Monk I.
That's spicy.
Yeah, and I'm coming at you with some cold coffee in my cup, $150 short of some tire fixes, but thank the Lord for overcharges. Back to you in the studio.
Well, I don't know what to do with any of that.
Overdraft. I meant overdraft.
That you were you playing Death Stranding? You got the time fall?
No, I was going down a road and I hit a rock and it dented the rims in my tires. Yeah.
That sounds like the holidays. And we also have MOTN Review's own Brian.
Yo, what up, man? What's going on, folks? Glad to be back. Excited. Real quick, because you mentioned Death Stranding, and frankly speaking, I don't get to talk to a lot of people, so I got to do it right here, right now. And that being said, I'm going to say something about Fallen Order as well. I know this isn't a video game stream, but I have to say, like I said, I'm going to talk to people. So,
speak your truth, Doug.
Death Stranding. Watch the game. For the most part, have seen a good majority of the game. You know what? The first 10 to 12 hours looks miserable, but after that thing looks like it turns into a delightful freaking experience. So,
yeah, man. It's a podcast game. It's a podcast game, dude.
Yes, for those people who stuck in there, way to go. And Fallen Order, man. Look, man, I haven't seen Star Wars. I'm a little behind. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's the best thing on Earth, so I barely care about freaking Star Wars. But Fallen Order is a disappointment. People were losing their minds over it just because it had Star Wars. Like Episode 1 had Star Wars. No one lost their mind about that, did they? No. This game was like, stop. What game? I'm going to stop here very quickly.
No one's saying anything, man.
But I'm just watching a video on YouTube, right?
But what game gives you the ability to only aesthetically change your primary weapon? So if you have a gun, let's say, and you pick up a magazine clip, it's a leopard print clip, but it's only a leopard print clip. It does absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's aesthetics,
man. Minds. No, man, and this is full of just aesthetic nonsense. So,
but Brian, you get multicolored ponchos, Doug.
I'm so angry.
Don't you want all the ponchos, Doug? You gotta collect them all.
And I'm glad you followed up on Twitch. Guess what? I don't see anyone playing Fallen Order anymore.
It's not that kind of game, man. Once you beat the story mode, it's over, dude.
Dude, I still see people playing Dark Souls.
Because Dark Souls, you can play in multiple different ways.
Souls?
You can
you mean it has some variety?
I'm not fighting you on this.
All right. So I'm done. I'm sorry to bring us down, but let's go back up.
It's
top 10 to do, not a bottom freaking 2020.
Oh, geez. So
where am I?
What year is this? Speaking of Disney properties, we're talking about the MCU, ladies and gentlemen. We're counting down our 10 favorite, I'm not going to say best, because what is best, but our favorite MCU characters and why. So just to lay the ground rules here, us being this three-headed Hydra, being this King Ghidorah of host here, Godzilla. So we're not going to do a conventional top 10 where I have a 10, Brian has a 10, and Winter has a 10. We're going to just count down characters we want to talk about until we hit the number 10. So we're just going to take our turns, and we can chime in and add our thoughts on a character that someone may mention, and go from there. Does that make sense, everybody?
Mhm.
It does make sense. Could we start out with at least an honorable mention or two?
Did you want to hold honorable mentions to the end, or did you want to do them now?
I will go right now.
If you want.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it right now.
All right, I'll pick one honorable mention. You start, Brian.
If I have one to pick, it is going to be Phil Coulson. He is an honorable mention for me. I love this character, and he was in I can't his name.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, besides Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he was in a comedy with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, but he brought so much life to every film when there wasn't necessarily a Nick Fury to lean on. And I think that his presence is a tad underrated. And
New Adventures of Old Christine. Okay, go on.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Great show. Please watch.
My grandma here? What's going on?
That's a fantastic show, man. At any rate, when you, as I'm rewatching this in chronological order, it's his presence would be missed, and the entire thing would feel differently. So that's my honor.
Yeah, man, and I'll just touch on that just to say, yeah, he's the martyr, right? He's the heart that was pumping throughout all of Phase 1, and his sacrifice needed to happen to really catapult that movie, because he was the one through line before Fury. He was the through line throughout the entire thing. He was the kind of connecting tissue. Right. So when he passed away in Avengers, that made you feel it. That added weight to the film, you know. And without him, it wouldn't have been successful.
Now, wasn't it Iron Man 2 that he came in, and at the end there was like they found Thor's hammer, and then
correct,
okay. Yeah,
yep. Cool,
okay, absolutely.
What's your
it's a great moment.
It's a very good moment.
Yeah.
What was it? The Place of Enchantment, New Mexico, or something like that.
It was New Mexico. I don't know the name of the city though.
What's your honorable mention, Winner?
Honorable in the sense of I wish they did like a Marvel show on the character. They hinted at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy that that there was a Howard the Duck that was in the guy's collection.
Howard the Duck. Sorry.
So it's an honorable mention in the sense that I want a Marvel series on Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck rules.
With Patton Oswalt voicing the duck or something like that.
That would work. You already have my money.
And I want to say that there is, and I don't want to be privy to false rumors or anything of that nature, but there's a Howard and the Duck series being talked about for Disney Plus, I believe.
Yeah. Have it be like a detective series, man.
Awesome. Oh, that'd be great.
Wouldn't that be sweet, Doug?
Be fantastic. I like Howard the Duck.
Love Howard the Duck. No one can tell me anything about him. My honorable mention. Just gonna say War Machine. War Machine's my honorable mention. Because bringing the heat, man. James Rhodes, Iron Man, if you want to count T. Howard as the original War Machine, and thus Don Cheadle. I just think the character had a very interesting. You're going to hear me say this word multiple times in this list. He had a very interesting arc. Kind of his development as kind of being Tony's friend. No, not even Tony's friend. He was more Tony's kind of babysitter turned rival turned friend. You know, so I just think War Machine needs a shout out because he's one of the few people of color in the MCU that's been there from the beginning. So I definitely want to give a shout outs to him. That's my honorable mention.
Fair enough. That's a great honorable mention list. I take those three in the battle.
Dude, so beautiful. So let's start this list at our proverbial number 10.
Number 10.
So I'm going to ask Winner to pick a character. What's a character you want to talk about out of your list? Now, space this out, mind you, because we're going to have a lot of time to go over our heavy hitters. So if you want to lean more towards that, it's up to you.
Okay. So number 10, it can't be someone that is like top tier, I think. You have to go second tier for this. I think I would put the character of Jeff Goldblum.
Please say psych. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. You want to put
Yeah, now you don't know either, huh?
Yeah, because you threw me off. There's the Collector and there's the Grandmaster. You want to put
on my list? I just
Grandmaster.
put Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, that is the Grandmaster.
Okay,
Because this is the thing. Because the Grandmaster, no one knows his name. They just know it's just Jeff Goldblum. Because it's pretty much in Thor Ragnarok, he takes over the role and does his thing. I would love to see that character like fleshed out more. I really liked his screen, and I think that's a good number 10. Just to like throw that out there. He's yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And what's funny is that character is like cosmically powerful in the comics, and having to be played by whimsical Jeff Goldblum is hilarious, and he's kind of steals the movie a little bit, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this could be open to like the entire Thor Ragnarok film if you want to attack. But I really think that like maybe he could return in the next phase of Marvel since he's cosmic.
I doubt
for sure.
I doubt Jeff Goldblum had a one-picture deal.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure you're going to see him floating around.
Aren't we going to be seeing him again in Jurassic Park? What is it? 6?
Yeah.
Like here very
Goldblum finds a way.
Goldblum does indeed find a way, man. All right, Brian, what are you going to choose for the number 9?
Well, if I'm going to choose a number 9, that's really funny. I'm just looking at my list right now, and I have 2 number 9s. That's really weird.
Life finds a way.
My number 9 is actually going to end up being the Hulk because he's the Hulk, and he should have been. The Hulk is disappointing for me because I have 2 lists. I have 10 list, and then I have a disappointment list and an honorable mention list. Hulk is the only person I found privy to put on both lists because what we got was amazing. Absolutely amazing. But what we didn't get, such as more depth from Banner after the original introduction in the Avengers, it left me sad, and Smart Hulk, Genius Hulk, what's his name?
The Professor. Yeah.
The Professor Hulk. I think that not that we've seen the end of Hulk, as apparently, who knows, but I think that's not like the best version of Hulk go out.
I echo you because Bruce Banner didn't make my top 10 list. He didn't make my honorable mention, and it's just to kind of touch on it. It's because of what you mentioned. A lot of the characters on my list made a progression. A progression of character development, whereas Banner had a regression of character development.
Yes, he very much did have a regression, and there was never really an explanation as why, but there's only so much time in a film, I guess.
The cynical part of me is like, well, because Universal still owns the Hulk and Marvel kneecapped the character, but it's also because Universal still owns the Hulk and Marvel kneecapped the character. But I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
But if they've gotten rid of Captain America and Iron Man now, do you think that there's a spot available for more Hulk films?
No, Marvel's going to put anything that they own flat out is going to get the heat. Nothing that's kind of a Spider-Man's not going to get a big push. Hulk's not going to get a big push because they don't own them. So those are 2 characters that are just out until they physically own them again. So it's a sad thing. It's a sad state of affairs. Marvel owns. But
didn't they
She-Hulk.
say they were going to do another Spider-Man?
Yeah, but they're still locked with Fox, though.
Right.
I mean, I'm sorry, with Sony.
And I would be remiss without mentioning, as you're talking about the business end of this, like Disney owning 50% of the box office this year.
That's a whole nother podcast, man.
Absolutely
Terrifying.
bonkers.
I don't want to. I can't even get into that right now, man.
So, all right. All right. Go on.
My number eight, deserves no doesn't need any introduction. I'm gonna go with Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch.
Oh.
I love this character in this series, just because she is the most unluckiest character. She's the tragic figure in the entire series. She
has a rough go of it, man.
She has, the roughest go. She's born from tragedy. You know, her and her brother were caved in from a Tony Stark nuke that killed her whole family. She was twisted and warped by Hydra to become these agents of chaos. She accidentally killed like 300 people in Sokovia, which started the whole Sokovia Accords. And Vision died in front of her, man. Like, this character has just been through the ringer, but Wanda always kind of seems level-headed in a weird way. And it's funny that her powers aren't defined. Her bad luck, which is her comic book counterpart's powers, constantly always follow her. So I just think she's a really fascinating character. And that's kind of why she made my list, and why I want her at number 8.
Yeah, isn't there a thing about her being in a TV show coming up next year?
Yeah, she's going to be in WandaVision.
WandaVision.
That's going to be, God knows what that is, but it sounds like it's going to be insane. Like they're really going to dive into the Scarlet Witch villain that she is.
Is it? You know what? We won't do that. Okay. I hadn't heard that quite yet.
Yeah, I'm hearing things. All right, we're rolling back around the winner for number 7.
Number 7. So, I would want to go and sit and I'm not going to put a heavy hitter out there quite yet, but I do want to put in Winter Soldier.
Oh, okay. I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it.
I think his going for the films alone has a very interesting story arc that is like surprisingly a lot better than the Hulk's. Which is, wouldn't you say it's weird that this character has like a better storyline than the Hulk?
I mean,
he's better written.
Yeah. The Hulk there's no like switching sides for the Hulk except for he was on Ragnarok where he's Hulk for too long, so he forgets who he is. But Winter Soldier, there's an arm missing. There's he's gonna team up with Falcon type thing. There seems to be a lot more going on for him than Mr. Green Man.
I found Winter Soldier to be one of the most overrated characters in the series.
Okay.
From my point of view, I thought he was played very well, and I understand what you're talking about with the events that happened and kind of the like Wolverine-ish backstory that they come with him. But ultimately, his presence, again, upon a rewatch, it's just mostly like glares into the camera and like solemn stares, and it's like, bro, like really, like do you have feelings? I mean, it kind of looks like you do, but you're not supposed to.
I'm not Bucky. Who's Bucky?
Dude, I don't know. The entire thing he doesn't feel done well to me. He was played well, but the character itself, it's missing a little impact for me compared to what, the hype he was given. Internet, please don't come in.
He's John Wick, man. He's the stoic death machine, dude. Like, he's the man. He is in every, and it's a Marvel thing, but he is the dark reflection of Steve Rogers. He's a man out of time that is a weapon.
when you talk about other
know?
people that didn't make the list, Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, did not make the list.
Well, you trust to believe he's making this damn list.
Yeah.
In fact,
all right.
okay, you're,
Slappeth thee.
All right.
Slap.
with hell's heart I stabbeth thee. Okay, Brian, what are you gonna choose for your number? What are we on, 6?
6. We're on number 6, and so I'm just going to bring the heat. I'm going to go with Doctor Strange.
Ooh, he was an honorable mention. Yeah.
Honest to God, like the Doctor Strange movie, not the best movie.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, like it's a good flick. Don't get me wrong. I'd rewatch it like 6 times, but it's like, whatever. His presence in Infinity War and Endgame, I'm sorry, this dude is amazing. And they took him to the level that I had always thought of in Doctor Strange in my head. And when we started this, Mike, and you talked about, going through the 16 million or billion different scenarios, like when I think of Doctor Strange, that's what I think of.
Yeah.
And literally sit down and run through like 16 billion in like a minute and be like, yeah. So here's what we're going to do. And it's like, no, that dude's awesome. So
I'm happy someone mentioned Doctor Strange because he's my low-key, like, one of my favorite characters as a kid because he's just infinite power. Like, as a kid, like, Doctor Strange was the coolest. Anytime he showed up in anything, it was cool. Like, when he showed up in the Spider-Man animated series, he showed up in X-Men.
Absolutely.
And when you got to see him on the screen in Infinity War going toe to toe with an Infinity Gauntleted Thanos, and he's keeping up with him, it's like it's the geekiest thing in the world. It's the best. So,
and I know he had some help in Spider-Man and Iron Man in that scene, but for the love of God,
no, it's him, dude.
With Thanos, man,
he's eating black holes and doing infinite,
he's like
teleportations.
Black hole. Like I've never, my eyes. That is so much eye candy. Like if I could just watch that on repeat, I probably would. Just
if we did like top 10 scenes of the MCU, it would be like my top 3. It's just everything I want. So, put it into my veins. Where are we? Number 5?
5.
And that's me?
5.
Yeah.
Ooh, we're starting to get up there, man. I may have to start pulling out some of my heavy hitters. Yikes, doing it this way is hashtag hard cuts for real. Who do I want to mention that I don't think will be mentioned in this group without saving my big mention? So, okay. I'm going to mention Nebula. That's my number 5.
What?
Nebula from Guardians of the Galaxy. I really want to talk about this character.
All right.
Okay, Grandmaster, don't come at me.
That was at 10.
So hear me out.
We're running out of space. What should we do?
No, I really dig what they did with this character.
So hilarious.
I really did with it. Because his Nebula she is the quintessential kind of rival to Gamora, right? She is the sister that never got the attention from father, so to speak. She's always at odds with Gamora, who is just naturally talented. She's in anime terms, she's Vegeta, right? She's just Vegeta, and from Dragon Ball, she's never good enough. And her arc from Guardians 1 all the way to Infinity War, where you get to see the stark difference between current time Nebula and past Nebula, where she's still petulant, she's still uncertain, and she's just still like slavishly devoted to Thanos. You get to see like where the character really gone on a side by side dynamic, and that Endgame really solidified this character for me, just being just a fascinating case study. Her reconciliation with Gamora in Guardians 2, where were literally about to kill each other, and they just had to talk it out.
Great scene too.
You know what I mean? It's beautifully shot. Gamora literally lifts like a plasma cannon and shooting it at Nebula. I mean, Gamora shooting that. And at the end of it all, she's just like, I just wanted you to be my sister, man. Like, I didn't really care about any of that stuff, but you always had to win. You always had to look good in front of Dad. And every time I lost, he took something from me physically and mentally. You know, I just think the character, you know,
that was a rough, like sentence for anybody out there who has a sibling of any type. You're like, oh God, that hurt. Yeah, man, because sometimes it's like that. It's like, dude, you like, oh, because you were good, I got my ass handed to me, man.
All the time.
Like, what the F?
Not just like of course the emotional baggage of that, but no, Thanos was ripping out body parts, dude. He was like, you're not good enough. I'm going to keep replacing you with cybernetic implants until you balance out.
And you want to talk about Wanda having a rough go of it.
Nebula is tragic, dude. By the end of it all, she has this like beautiful catharsis where she's a hero. She's a hero by the end of the movie. And this is a character that was so far from that when the film started. And that's why like she has to make this list, because I just think her story is one of the most compelling ones in the Marvel in the MCU.
Honestly, it was a hashtag hard cut for me. I was gonna put her on, and I couldn't. It was a hard cut, but I understand where you're coming from, man.
I respect it, man. I respect it.
She had a rough go, man.
Yeah, and just to see her go from A to B is something like, it's still fascinating to me. I watch her arc all the time. Guardians 1, 2.
In fact, she might save Guardians 2.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
She literally might save that thing.
She's hilarious. She's deadly. She's terrifying. You know what I'm saying? She's relentless. Like, I just love that character. I'm bringing the ladies with my group, but Nebula, man, my number 5.
Number 4.
Number 4. A winner.
Boy, we're down to the 4, huh? So
The Fantastic Four.
Technically, that means I'm going to get number 1 as well. So
choose wisely.
Yeah. So now I'm just going to say it. Captain America, folks.
Hey. Talk about him.
So I like Captain America just in the sense of it seems to be so early Captain America, definitely propaganda type comic, for sure. Okay. Now with like hypercritical post X-Files generation, Captain America is kind of like, for the first movie was like an homage to like rootin' tootin', like what would you say, like buy war bonds type cartoons, I would say. But then when we go to the following Captain America, Civil War is next. Well, no, was it Winter Soldier that was next?
Winter Soldier.
Yeah, thank you. We start to see like some cracks where he might go against the grain, you know what I'm saying? And then Civil War, we have
the
him
full
going,
break.
Yeah, the full break, where he's no longer the like buy your war bonds type Captain America, but he's the I have a hyper code that I follow type person
that goes beyond borders.
Yeah,
that's beyond nations. You know what I mean?
Right. So It goes from no longer like a piece. It seems like Captain America, out of a lot of the other superheroes, seems to have a real bent at there's a message being thrown out there, but it could just be me reading into it.
Nah, I echo the sentiment. Like, Captain America is number 2 on my normal list. Mm-hmm. Just because there's only one other character that has a better arc than Steve Rogers, the man out of time, you know, the always right, the perfect Captain America. But then he starts to see the breaks in our modern government, the breaks in modern like complacency of government. And he starts to kind of rebel against it. He becomes the Nomad, which is a nod to the comic. And he's just a fascinating, conflicted character who has every right to win, but he takes so many losses. You know what I mean? Throughout the MCU, he's constantly losing. You know, he's losing friendships, he's losing loved ones, he's losing battles, he's losing friends. But in all intents and purposes, he's perfect. So how does this happen? Right? And he lives with those L's. I'm a little biased because he's my favorite superhero outside of Batman, but I'm happy Cap got on this list, man. Good.
I just want to say, upon the second watch, I hate him less this time than I did the very first time.
That's okay.
Series, so he comes along.
The Church of Captain America always has his doors open for you, Brian.
I hate America.
That's fun. I was really
he hates America
when they do X-Men that I don't have to get that with Cyclops.
Don't get me started on Cyclops.
I understand, but if they do something very similar to Cyclops, I'm gonna have to tune out, man.
Interesting that we haven't had an X-Men character yet.
Well, we're sticking strictly to MCU, so that's why you haven't heard me say Daredevil or Kingpin or anything like that. We're just doing MCU film movies, cinemas.
Yeah.
Oh, number 4.
Number 4, man. Who are you choosing for number 4?
Number 3. I'm number 3.
Oh,
my number 3. I'm just gonna bring the heat. Yo, man, it's Thanos. I'm sorry. Like, this dude, he's my number 1, period, in the story. Thanos rules all.
Thanos reigns, dude.
You can take all these movies and wrap them up and stack each one against some of Thanos' most memorable moments, like when you find out what Thanos is doing, when Thanos throws a planet, when Thanos wipes off, spoiler alert, half of the world, half of the population. Even after Thanos gets beat,
he still wins, Doug.
Thanos still wins, bro. Thanos is the reason I'm rewatching all of this, just so that I can rewatch and build, even though he only had that one short scene in Guardians and
his cameo in Avengers, right?
Avengers, and did he have another scene? I thought he had one more scene.
No, that's all you saw him before
Infinity War. Okay.
No, he had another small cameo in Ultron where he said, I'll do this myself, and he puts the glove on.
Okay, yes, that's the other scene, and that's the last movie I just recently watched, even though I was watching some video of it. Watched it a second time, did not remember it, and I literally just watched that movie, and I was like, "That happened,
dude."
Thanos to me, it's not so much about his arc, but it's about his presence. Presence stacked against any other one of these dudes, with the exception of freaking Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Sorry, he wins.
And we were talking about Star Wars earlier. You say Thanos, and he's just, in the best way possible, mind you, not in a negative. He's the Emperor, right? Mm-hmm. He's this character that's on the periphery of the entire story, right? But once you finally get to,
I haven't seen Star Wars, by the way.
He's never seen Star Wars ever.
Wow.
No, I mean
the new one. I know what happens, but I haven't seen it. So maybe
I've seen it.
Okay, don't say anything.
No, we're good. We're good. I'm just mentioning him because he's on the periphery of the story, and once you finally start to see him, he has such an impact on the story immediately, right? Once you actually go to Infinity War, you got to see Thanos in the
gravitas
flesh.
Of it all. Just...
What does he accomplish in the first 10 minutes? He kills Heimdall. Spoilers. He mops the floor with Hulk, humbling him. Thor is already destroyed. He kills Loki, and he gets what he wants and breaks out.
Who's stopping that? At manhandled Hulk, and my mouth was on the floor, and I was like, "Wait, whoa!"
And the comic nerd in me was, you have to understand, I was analyzing that scene with a fine-tooth comb. The comic nerd in me, I was waiting to be like, nah, he can't do that. But truthfully, yeah, Thanos can do all that. That's all comic accurate, dude. There's no hyperbole to what he was doing. Ever. It's all comic accurate. So I'm happy you put Thanos on the list because he didn't make my list, sadly. But yeah, that's a good pick. That's a very good pick for our number. What is this, number
2?
Number 2? No.
You get 2.
Yeah, you did too. I'm number 1.
Oh no, I didn't get another one. You're right. Winner.
You get one more.
Oh, we're on number 2.
Oh yeah, we
Number two.
we were just talking about. Okay, so
Thanos was number 3.
yes. Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to keep track of this in my brain. Number 2, and I'm going to mention this character because we need to talk about him. And Winter is a wild card. Love you like a brother. I don't know what your number one's going to be. I have no idea what your number one's going to be.
Wait, I think you know. I'm not gonna do any wild cards.
Okay,
I'll
just put it out there.
Think of someone else.
Okay, I'll put it out there. My number 2 pick is, of course, Anthony Stark, Iron Man.
Oh, damn it!
It's just Iron Man. I need to make sure he gets on the list.
Don't call him Anthony. Just
Anthony Stark, though. Tony makes you feel he's the cool exec with the heart of steel.
You're a grown man.
Sure. I'm calling him like his mom. Yeah. Anthony? I mean, but come on. Robert Downey Jr., a career defining role.
Perfect. Who gets a perfect role? Like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Conan, maybe, but who?
Right.
Okay.
Perfect role.
Who gets the perfect role? And pardon my French, never fucks it up.
Dude.
It's not French.
Right.
Never. I hate to.
Right.
Never. Every single time he's on screen, he owns the room. For 10 years of cameos of Iron Man's 1, 2, 3, Avengers Age of Ultron, Infinity War, Civil War, every single time he played the character, it was dead on.
You only get that consistency when you're playing yourself.
Because there's no fakery to it.
There's no fakery, bro.
And the moment I found out that Robert Downey Jr. was going to play Tony Stark, I was like, yeah, because that's him. He's a guy who had a ton of money, who has a drinking problem.
God, I love freaking. That's a great casting choice.
It's the best casting choice. It's up there with like Christopher Reeves, dude.
Yes,
like,
absolutely. I would say 40 years from now, people would be like, more so than Steve Rogers and freaking.
No, I hate to say it.
They're going to be like, dude.
It's Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark, Iron Man. Perfection casting. And Marvel's always had good casting. They cast really good. Marvel does. But nothing beats Tony's arc from being the most self-serving, spoiled, kind of gifted genius to where does he end up in Endgame as the savior of the universe? The most humbled, the most trying his best, still maintaining that Tony swag. I mean,
one of the things
character,
I liked most about what they did with Tony or Iron Man is dude, there is some like 6-year-old today that could actually do that. That could be smart enough to put all of that type of stuff together.
Yeah,
man, that's not a problem. We got this.
You don't think there's somebody in some country with a functional Iron Man suit on the low, though?
No,
right. Yes.
In this huge giant world we live in.
Yes.
Even if it's just the specs, there's gotta be at least one guy, right?
Dude, I got specs in my house.
Right? Right?
You get me?
All right.
I made a mind gym yesterday. But yeah, Iron Man is the best character in the entire series. He is the heart of the MCU.
For these 2 phases.
Well, no longer because that heart's been put out. 4 phases, mind you.
4 phases.
But yeah, that's my number 2. What is going to be the number 1 winner?
Well, you stole it.
Well, I was afraid.
Well, I told you, don't be afraid.
Well, I'm sorry.
I wouldn't have picked him as number 1. Thanos is number 1.
Jeez.
Go on.
Like, Brian got his number 1 in. I got my number 1 in. Because Tony was my number 1.
You get to go last, though.
You get to go last, man. You close the book. You leave the lasting impression, dude. What character do you want us to close on?
I think I'll just pick the easy one and go. We haven't had Thor on the list.
Oh, that's not a bad number 1, man.
Yeah, I really liked Thor Ragnarok myself.
I
I mean,
Thor.
I was told that we were just I can't pick Punisher Warzone or Punisher as like if we were gonna do films. I had those on my list, but
Thor, man, like
Thor.
Thor's arc rivals Tony's in its epicness and its scope and the character from A to B, right? Where Thor is in Thor and Kenneth Branagh Thor to Endgame are two totally different characters, man. Totally different character, tonally different.
I like what they did with Thor. I have no issues with it. He did not make my list. He did not. But I will say Heimdall did. And he was actually my number 10. And the reason Thor was such a centering presence around this series, he was much like Tony in every movie. So there was a whisper of him, there was a scene, there was talk, those people looking at the sky. He was a very centering moment. And when it came to just, they didn't go to Hulk. You know what I mean? They didn't go to Hulk. So they gave Thor not only the character part, but they made him the central badass. This is taken out menus. Like he goes up against the Viking, the Ice Viking. And what's he doing? He's literally out there having fun, just whirling his hammer around. He's just knocking fools around, laughing.
That's Thor, man. Winner.
They did a good job.
Winner, what are your thoughts on Thor suffering from PTSD?
I think that's part of what I mainly liked when Thor got fat.
Hashtag fat Thor, dog.
Yeah. And it wasn't even that fat, to be honest with you.
I'm fatter than Thor.
Yeah. What is that supposed to tell you? You're fatter than a god.
Jeez.
I'm in the same boat. But folks, I like the route the Thor movies are going, in a sense of where they're hamming up the cartoonish value of it. You know, I can't. How do you pronounce his name? Waititi?
Taika Waititi.
Waititi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his directing style. I was hesitant at first for a Marvel movie, but it fit perfectly. And he's not afraid of having other directors on set for Thor for film, so that they can kind of work together to make a functioning universe, which I thought was awesome.
Dude,
it was very hard to make. They grounded Thor, and
I was just going to say that.
Talking about the very first Thor, because second Thor was just not good.
We don't talk about the Dark World.
Good.
That's fine.
Dude, it was. I tried. I'm like, all right, watch this again. I'm sure it's not that bad. No, it's terrible. And that very first Thor, they grounded something so fantastical in such a way that you're like, no, this is good, man. This is how it is. This is freaking Asgard,
right?
But yeah,
I think that was a great feat in the comic book world.
100%. And what Marvel does really well, and just to go back to Winter's sentiment about the cartoonishness of Ragnarok, the slapstickness of it, is that Marvel reminds you really fast of the reality of situations. And I want to name a character we haven't spoke about on this list, which is Spider-Man. And how Spider-Man is this whimsical, joke-cracking hero that can do amazing things, but they always remind you in certain scenes that this is a child on a battlefield, and he's crying, and he's vulnerable, and it sucks you right back down.
Spider-Man's dying,
Earth.
Mommy! Spider-Man's not dead.
No. That's a joke for other podcasts, but
yes.
But Thor, like you said, in Ragnarok, he's cracking jokes. He's hilarious. Chris Hemsworth needs to be a bigger star. He has such good chemistry. But there's a scene, and I think it's in Infinity War, that grounds Thor all the way back, and it's when he's talking to Rocket, and he's like, "Yeah, my dad was murdered by my sister. My mom was murdered in front of my eyes. My brothers died twice in my arms. My people, who I've recently become king to, have been scattered to the winds. So I can't possibly be afraid if I have nothing else to lose. And it's just like, shit. Like, it's Thor just brings you right back down to under all that bravado and smoothness. He's just this tortured character whose only chance at revenge was faulty because he made a split-second bad decision. And it messed him up so much that he just stopped heroing. He chilled at the house and played Fortnite with his homies all day for 5 years straight. Like, I'm good. You can tell he didn't swing that hammer once after that, you know? And it just makes a fascinating character, you know? Characters with layers, you know? And Thor made my top 3 because of that. Because he's one of the more layered characters in the MCU. Dude, we came up with a hell of a list, man. This is a really eclectic list. Like, looking back at it, this is a very good list. I'm very proud of what we came together with today. Even the order makes sense. And we just did that, you know? So I want to thank both of you for going down this MCU memory lane. And I want to ask one question of both of you. If there is a character that you want in the next 10 years of Marvel films to get the Iron Man rub, the Thor rub, the Thanos rub, Brian, what character do you want in the next 10 years of Marvel to really stand out and be awesome?
Doctor Strange.
You just want more Strange?
I want to see Strange do more Strange-like things, but I will say, as a counter to your question, that the most disappointing character in the series, and one I think they could have did way more with, was Hawkeye.
There's plenty of Hawkeye stories to tell. He's getting a TV show.
I mean, okay, that's fine, but in the movie, whatever. Go on.
Whatever.
This is what I want. I want a Disney Plus show of a young Nick Fury that also talks about the origins of S.H.I.E.L.D. So it'll be like Nick Fury doing stuff, but like a side story is the creation of S.H.I.E.L.D., or it could show like a bunch of like other Marvel lore that's tied. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's precedent for that. Young Nick Fury chilled with the Punisher. He had his own version of Avengers in the 70s.
Right.
He's lived a very interesting life. So, like, a past version of Nick Fury would be excellent, you know. But the weird thing about that is he didn't start getting into cosmic shit apparently until the 90s with Captain Marvel. So he'll have to deal with other like more grounded stuff. But that'll still be dope.
But it would be Disney Plus. It doesn't have to be part of the cinematic.
Nah, film. Disney Plus is the cinematic now. They're
not
merging. Not yet. Guys, I have one name, 2 words. Dr. Doom.
Orlando Jones. Okay.
Orlando Jones. I want Dr. Doom. I want Doom.
They are making a movie, right?
Eventually.
Yeah.
I want Dr. Victor Von Doom to be the villain. I want him to be the Thanos.
Yeah,
of the next 10 years.
With that. That'd be fine with that.
Is the most, outside of Magneto, mind you, he's the most fascinating villain in comic book history, in my humble opinion. He's so conflicted and layered and evil, and Doom fights everyone. Doom fights Spider-Man. He fights the X-Men. Of course, the Fantastic Four. He fights the Avengers. He's a cosmic threat.
I mean, if we're going down that road,
that's what I'm saying. Like the next 10 years,
like
what
the
character?
Next 10 years, like Doctor Doom is the one that has like the master plan. But I would love to see a Green Goblin somewhere in there.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
This is the freaking Goblin, man.
This is my initial question. That's the real question I'm asking. Not anything that's established. What character that is not a household name do you want to be the next Iron Man, the next Thanos, the next
personally
Loki.
Namor, but it's never gonna happen. But yeah, there's a main characters that I know that they've been holding back for whatever reason, and it's like, no, where are these characters?
Silver Surfer, man.
Silver Surfer.
Wolverine. I would love to see a new Wolverine.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You know,
Maybe
like,
you want to do Wolverine v Hulk. I'm fine with that.
dude, like Winter's idea, right? You have Wolverine. You have a Disney Plus show of Wolverine throughout the ages, fighting heroes from all generations.
Each season would be a different decade.
Dude, Wolverine during World War II fighting with Captain America. Wolverine in the 70s
during the crack epidemic.
During the crack epidemic, fighting with Blade. Make Blade a
Flyweight with Freeway Rick.
Damn. You're diffusing my hype, is what you're doing.
On that note, it's been a fantastic time. Thanks for having me.
As Brian grabs his hat and jacket, he's just walking out the podcast. But yeah,
well, a guy has to go to the restroom. So
hey, man, I feel you. When you gotta go, dude. Anywho, where can we find you, Brian? Plug it up.
You can find me on Twitter at Brian J. Wash and eBay at Wash's Shop.
Buy his stuff, man. He has Marvel stuff sometimes.
Guys, you just bought a bunch of stuff. You don't have to buy anybody's stuff. That's just what you can find.
Do it.
Later.
Oh, man. Where can we find you, Winter?
You can find me on Trash Monk the Third at all your favorite social media sites. Maybe TikTok. I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, look at the youngster among us.
Yeah,
man.
I'm kind of a big deal. Anyways, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Check me out.
Look out for that MOTN TikTok.
Dude. And you don't stop. You can find me on St. Louis Rolling on Dubs. You can find, of course, you can find the channel on Twitter. That's at MNerdiverse. Help us reach 1900 before the end of the year. Huh?
Talk about the Patreon real quick.
Patreon.com/MOTN. Give
Toss
us money.
Toss a coin to your nerds. Toss a coin to
Somebody's been watching The Witcher.
Okay. That's enough.
That's enough. Thank you both for being on the show. Thank you for listening.
Me. It's been a blast.
Yeah, man. If this is your first episode, I firstly would like to thank you and welcome you to the Nerdiverse. And check out our other stuff on MasterNerdiverseCast.com. That's our website. And you'll find all of our archived episodes. I've, of course, been your host, Mike G. And I will always ask you to look towards the skies. Look towards the skis.
Look towards the skies and see.